Well, I seem to be still having intermittent computer problems depending on which particular computer it is. Uh, this is the zombie, emotionally deprived and sleep deprived, screwed up human being. We were John C. from Roseman, California. Talking to those who've already had a nice conversation a couple hours ago on Facebook regarding grieving and lost loved ones. And there was a subject matter talking about greed. Oh, good lord. Okay. My video response to this. I've been doing my own grieving channel on YouTube for a few years because I needed it for my own self-therapy. After I couldn't get enough or any help through a medical establishment, and I needed to get myself righted, I had to do my own grieving channel. The Diary of the Weaver, the Diary of the Griever named John Weaver. That'd be me. Grief has affected me too many ways that I had to do a channel. Mostly it was for mental health until the grieving really kicked in, and then I had to change it to that. But I had to communicate this effectively to people outside because um, I had to let them know how I was doing regarding my own grieving and my own mental health issues. See, it's not that easy when you're born screwed up and people keep telling you, especially the medical establishment, that you're supposed to be this way. And I had to explain a lot of things in my channel, a lot of videos. Suffice it to say, they thought I had white lab coat syndrome, and it wasn't. It was PTSD. A hell of a lot of grief and pain. I just had to bottle it up. So the old establishments wanted me to be tough, not human. As I dealt with pain and I dealt with grief ever since I was a kid, losing family members left and right, but also dealing with my own loss of life back at the age of 4 years old. I'll keep talking about the story. It'll bore the shit out of people, but this is how I am. Age of 4 years old, open heart surgery, mitral valves had to be repaired, so cut open the chest, cracked it open, cut open the heart, had me on a heart lung bypass machine, and I passed away 3 times on them. I came back to life 3 times. And yes, I came up to through the lights and back down again. I was told it wasn't my time yet. There was a letter that God probably read from my family to the surgeon, pleading for the surgeon to spare my life. And God read it, and God made sure I stayed down here. Without complications and not without easy peasy stuff. I've seen other people change when they're adults on how grieving affected them. We'll try a 4-year-old screwed up about life, afraid of how to live and how afraid of God, afraid of death. And it didn't exactly leave me very well, but I struggled and I survived. Dealing with the doctors who kept yelling at me to be brave, and I wasn't. Kept panicking with these guys because they kept screwing around with hypocrisy creed, Hippocratic oath. I do. Might as well call it the hypocrisy creed. Do no harm. Yeah, right. Poke, prodded, slice, dice, stitch, patch, more needles, more needles, more needles. You're sick, more pills. Are you screwed up one way? Here's another pill to screw you up with. I feel like a damn white lab rat. I'm supposed to take it. I'm supposed to be tough and brave. I wasn't tough and brave. I was just developing more and more aggravation towards the mental health agencies and mostly to the primary care physicians and specialists who use me for a damn lab rat. And meanwhile, while I'm losing family members left and right, I'm not supposed to emote. I'm not supposed to be emotional about it, cry, mourn, grief. Nuh-uh. You're supposed to go through life. You're supposed to go through work. When you get older as an adult, you're supposed to, as a kid, suck it in. Go to school, suck it in, suck it in, suck it in. See, there's always the thing concerning about the human condition, and when you love someone that much, you're supposed to be showing how much you care about them, even during the daytime. And then when it comes down for missing that person, you're not allowed to do that anymore because society doesn't like that. I've talked about that too many damn times in my videos. Before and after COVID kicked in, when I lost my big brother in 2018, my whole entire system, mental and physical, said, screw it. I started changing into something or someone I didn't even understand or like, and still trying to figure that one out. Who and what I am afterwards, I don't know. I'm still working on that. But how I'm supposed to be dealing with the grief and pain, I'm not allowing anybody else to tell me how to do that. Grief and pain and mourning are individuals. They are fundamental to our own well-being and how much we miss our family members. I'm discovering this more and more. And during this grieving mourning process here, I used the term way too many times, but I should be using me. Only because I keep learning more and more stuff about my own family, about my own things, going through what I know and learn, not getting the information from physical surviving cousins out there who don't give a shit about me anymore. Maybe one or two if I'm lucky enough. But everyone else has just written me off. Like the adults. Uh-oh. Hold on. Ding dong. Amazon calls. Gotta love these guys. Oh. Talk about real life. That was Amazon. If we're having the problems here on the West Coast, imagine what Florida's going through right now. Prayers for those people. A great deal of them. Anyway, life hits you. Life makes you forget. Life will remind you on some occasions, but for the most part, anything regarding the pain, anything regarding the feeling of love that you had, well, those were just pleasant memories. And everything else being nasty, ugly, including the pain and the torn apart heart, you're anesthetized by a lot of things, so you don't feel it. You're shoving the pain away to the darker side of yourself, to the other sides of your brain that you don't even realize it's still there, until you really lose the ones that are closest to you. That will take you a lifetime to recover anything, if anything, or rebuild something of you that you didn't realize. And for me, that's what's happening. I am rebuilding myself inside. I'm going through memories. I'm going through beatings. I'm going through images. I'm trying to understand by deconstructing all the memories I've got and all the experiences I've had to understand the reasons why things had to be, including how my family died. The hardest thing for a griever like myself to understand is the process of grieving itself. Scientists and people with books to get out to make money off of. There's your read right there. But for me, no. I am doing it to understand me. I am understanding it why things happen to me. And I may be wrong. There's always a chance to be wrong because the information is so inaccurate and inadequate because the more sources I wanted to get are not here. They are. And because they are well above, there's no way in hell. No, not yet. Reality check. I have a dog that needs to go out again. I'll take you out in a minute, mamas. I'll take you out in a minute. Go on. I'm going to embarrass you again. I'm going to embarrass the living crap out of you. If she doesn't get her way, she knows she's got a fuss. Okay, we're going to put this on pause. Capture my thoughts again after I get back inside the house. And we'll try this again from a different tack, eh? That's what happens when you own a dog. And the dog becomes the priority in your life. She becomes the woman that must be obeyed. To borrow lines from a British comedy show, Rumpel of the Bailey. She who must be obeyed. Yes, she must be obeyed. Because she's a woman, A, and she's a dog, second, and she's dependent upon me for everything. So, give me a minute. Let me take care of her first. Well, continuation. Just took my dog out for a walk. When you're, okay, putting the thing back into third person again, it's always when I'm talking about third person is usually when I'm talking about myself. Okay. When one is dealing with a hell of a lot of depression, one doesn't deal with clean clothes all the time. When one deals with the grieving and depression at the same time, clean clothes are going to be a rarity. We sleep, we eat, we deal with about a week on end without taking care of one's bodily elimination of stuff on it and what makes it reek and stink. Not to mention clothing. I hate to use these kind of terminologies, but I'm using the terminology because it fits. It fits. Especially me. Now, it's one thing being born a slob. But at least I was able to change clothing, and when I got into the workforce at a young adult age, I had to learn how to constantly take showers and constantly take laundry left and right and clean laundry left and right. Afterwards, later on in life, start losing people more and more, and the pain becomes the more priority, and the grieving becomes more priority than anything else. So certain things happened. There's a certain lackadaisical, cavalier, laissez-faire, whatever kind of terminology you can try nailing it. It's how you're feeling at the time when you wake up sometimes and you're feeling like you just want to end everything and just move on permanently. A lot of people will look at that as a warning sign because things have broken down so much in a person that he no longer, or she no longer, or it no longer, whatever you are, don't care about anything else but yourself. But even then, you're not caring about yourself because nothing else matters. There's a certain point in the brain, there's a certain point in the spirituality, a certain point in myself that switched over to things that no longer matter except a constant bug bomb would be nice in a place like this. A constant war over the insects I have to battle. Some help, but not much. I'll get it. Management, a little bit of work and spray here and there. But I have to do the work necessary to get this place together. You may think it's switching topics, but no. Pay attention. Pay attention. Because what I'm doing right now is trying to force attention to a lot of people and to my and also for myself to understand there are things out there that need taken care of and yet show up to be very little priority. An infestation in an apartment unit is a major thing. But for those who actually feel like the world really doesn't care what's going on, there's too much out there overloading the senses every which way, that there's a conclusion from this weird equation being drawn up that nothing else matters and that one has to be consigned to the point of saying hell with everything. And almost to a point of actions being taken. I can talk about this because I've been at that too many damn times. I've been at it. And it's so easy to slip. It's so easy to slip into that situation, that final pathway that everyone else took before you. Because whatever is offered or whatever is suggested is offering a way out. Really isn't. Really isn't, because everything else in life is a fluid situation. It's a fluid dynamic. Everything happens. Sometimes on a long term, sometimes on a short term. And it may seem like it's the worst thing ever, the short terms, because the long terms, you can get used to it and adjusted to it if you can, and become numb or dumb or just deal with it on a day by day or second by second basis and just big like a zombie, emotionally deprived, sleep deprived, and you're just pushing shit away from you while you keep moving forward. But it's the short thing, and the fuse is getting shorter and shorter at this point over here, and those are the ones you really got to be afraid of. They don't want to deal with the long term. It takes energy and something inside of you just to keep pushing forward, because you really don't want to deal with the after effect. You don't want to deal with the afterlife. Something about life here that you still have to keep pushing forward, because there's something motivating you, dragging you, pushing you, kicking and prodding at you, torturing your ass. But there's something that you got to take care of. There's something important. So you have to keep trudging along. Hello, me. And besides, I don't relish the idea of talking to the boss man upstairs just yet. Except if I'm trying to communicate with him down here as a mere mortal. But on that kind of a pure spiritual level, I don't know, because there's no final way of getting life back after you screwed that up. And how are you supposed to confront the old man on this one? I'm afraid and I'm ashamed. There's a lot of things I screwed up. A lot of people I may not have helped enough or helped at all. And I made a lot of mistakes. And I feel like I'm going to get my ass reamed. But if I still keep up with the communications, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that when it is my time, I go and somebody actually upstairs cares. That would be a good thing, wouldn't you think? So for me right now, as it is, dealing with a hell of a lot of grief and pain and missing my family, it's hard as hell. It changes my personality a great deal. It changed my interests, my outlook on life. My mother passed away in 2013. It screwed up me and my brother left and right. We were caregivers for most of our lives that we remember her. We're all take caregivers to each other until my mother's health turned for the worst the last several years, and Dave and I did the 24/7, majorly, I would say. And then it was his turn after Ma died. Emotionally and physically, he just couldn't deal with it, and I'm struggling trying to deal with my own physical ailments, and then I deal with something positive lands in my lap. I screwed up college when I was a young kid, and I had a second chance to finish it up on it and really do a better job this time, but without my mother being alive. But also taking care of my brother at the same time and dealing with life on every one of its curveballs. But I'm dealing with grieving, I'm dealing with pain, I'm dealing with knowledge, learning stuff, taking care of my brother. Yeah, it's a hell of a stress. I mean, it's like dogpile on you until my brother's health and everything else took a turn for the worse for him, and I had to fight like crazy just to live on my own, and it's been the worst thing ever. But maybe it's been the best thing, and I hadn't realized it yet. I'm still finishing up on college, and I'm doing a hell of a lot better on it. Don't ask me why, but it seems like I am. More maturity, more context and perspective. I understand what's. I understand more than what I should have a long time ago, getting out of high school. But I'm still dealing with personalities. I'm still dealing with my own self inside, still broken, and trying to patch it back together again. Making decisions that I wouldn't have or shouldn't have a long time ago just to live and survive right now as it is. I don't have the support from biological genetic family members. One way or another, if they are related to me, they don't give a shit. If they did, I would have been in constant contact with these people. Maybe one or two if I'm lucky. As for family friends I've had for a long time, poof, it hurts. When you have people that you depend upon as support and crutches and emotional support, and they disappear because they got their own stuff happening, it does take a toll on a person. Yeah, I understand how grieving hurts another person, especially when they lose their loved one, their matriarch, their mother of the family, and when she's gone, everyone else is trying to sort themselves out, and instead of coming together as a family, it's like drifted away, drifted away. It hurts me more because I had been so connected to them. Now they're gone. See, this is the reality I deal with when grieving in the morning. This is the reality I have to deal with. And it's surprising that everybody else who would go through this process may or may not go through this thing. Now, concerning about the greed portion of it, people want to make money to help other people, but they want to make money off of telling their own experiences. And me, I'm not doing that. I'm sharing experience, strengths, and hope, but the thing is, I am not pushing a damn dime out of them. I'm not saying, well, I just told you my story. Give me money. You listened. I want money from you now. You're listening to me. You bought my material. I want the money now. This is an important thing I got right now to tell you what's happening at this point over here. I must tell you the stuff. But I'm going to get my money out of you one way or another. Bit of a weird caricature right there, however. But I'm doing it in the sincerity of my heart. I've got these pages out there for people. I got all these damn quotes. Give me money. It's not happening in my case. I put my stuff on YouTube. I throw a lot of some of that grieving memes out there left and right for people to understand where I'm coming from, what I am. But I don't get that much conversation out of these people anyway. Just like this, like that, like this, like that. That's social media for you, especially when you're on Facebook. Oh, just like it like crazy. You don't get a conversation. And there's another thing I got to talk about. I talk about it a lot on my pages on YouTube. The Diary of the Griever named John Weaver. I'm lucky enough I get a few subscribers and a few people to like the videos. But if I get people watching the damn videos, maybe they understand how I'm going through it, which will be relating to how they're going through it. How they're losing sleep left and right. How the emotional impact of everything changes your behavior, including your habits, including sleep. And sleep's important. Because without that 68 hours, oh my God, you are a zombie and you're ready to fry your brains out. I know because I'm there. I haven't checked out yet by a neurologist. I should have. Might as well do a study on my damn brain. And I haven't. And I'm finding out that shrinks are still trying to tell me on how to be positive. And if I happen to get any negative thoughts, just write them down so we can talk about it. Are you kidding me? I mean, this was like a joke when I heard this one from my soul shrink. Telling me, give me a suggestion. Breathing in, actually, inhaling in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth in a way to calm yourself in certain circumstances so you don't have to be troubled by it. Okay, I can do that. I can remain calm in a little bit of a chaotic situation. I still gotta fucking fix the damn shit. Which means my brain still had to be working. And if it isn't working, and I'm going to sleep, now I know I'm really screwed up. And this is the thing concerning about the grieving in the morning situation here, especially for me. I have been overloaded. As I've been trying to explain to people, I have been overloaded emotionally, spiritually, and physically. That has been taking a toll on me left and right. It has been taking a toll. And yes, I talk about this thing because there's nothing else to do but to talk about it and bore the living crap out of people who don't want to listen to it. But for those who are actually paying attention, keep up with me. Because I'm touching topics in you, and I'm touching topics in you. They're making you understand why. Scary? I know. Nobody ever talks about this damn thing. Nobody ever puts it into discussions. They only put these little sound bites left and right with these little emoji icon shit. Talk to me. Come in from the street and say, I know what you're going through. Here's my experience, strikes the hope. Here's my experience regarding the situation. Do you not understand? This is my pain. This is what I'm going through. Understand my story. And the thing is concerning about stories is we all have similarities. We have similarities of what we're going through. In order to identify with a person and try to figure out what's going on, there has to be common ground. And again, in my videos, I'm talking about that too, with different topics, but everything's relative and related. You just have to find the pieces and put them together into the mosaic. And then understand that it's becoming more of a picture of all of us. And it's one huge mosaic picture. I know I talk too much, but you know what? There's so much to get out. And so much to talk about. That this is one of the heaviest, embarrassing, terrifying things to go through. Is your emotions and your memories of opening yourself up to people. How to be a human being, but also feel you need to protect yourself but be vulnerable at the same time. It's a weird balancing act. But this is my life. What can I say? Okay, I've talked to you and I've bored the living crap out of you enough. But I hope not. I hope not. I've been trying to tell people how I've been doing. I've been trying to tell them for years. The signs are there, the communications are there, they just have to understand. They have to understand. The problem is, they don't want to understand. They don't want to face it until it hits them, and then they're overloaded themselves. But, it happens. Happens to a lot of us. And what's terrifying is when people are too damn afraid of it, that they choose the wrong path and they don't come back. Or if they do, they come back in some kind of weird ass package that you don't recognize them anymore and they don't recognize you. Or maybe, just maybe, that God is going to appoint them to do something. Who knows? I don't know. I've read too many of these things regarding death. People trying to be positive in outlook, saying, "Oh, I understand the light out there." Okay, you understand the light, but I understand the darkness of the situation. It scares the living crap out of me. I understand pain. I understand grieving. I understand reality check. I understand that the light may be out there ready and waiting for me. It's not ready and waiting for me just yet. I'm not ready with life here. I still want to do a couple more things, and I can maybe go up to heaven and say, "See, God, maybe I did a few things I wanted to do, and did it make a difference? I don't know." But here's the thing: God's going to turn it around and say, "Well, I sent you down there to do my work, and you did it. What did I do, God?" You gave my message to people. How did I do that, Lord? You told them the truth, and you told them no lies. You wrote stories in their brains and their hearts. People listen to you. Stories are planted. It wasn't the fame or fortune I was looking at, boss, because I like to write, and writing about some of the stories were fine. Yes, but the stories I wanted the people to understand is what you told them. What did I tell them, oh God? I told them about my own grief and pain and reality checks I've been going through. And in the Bible that you kept trying to have people read and understand, and the different other artifacts that we had to present to people, not to mention our presentators and everybody else who are trying to represent or misrepresent. I mean, God, it got crazy out there. But I wanted to I wanted to set the record straight. I'm not a journalist. I'm just an observer and a storyteller, and I wanted to tell them my story. Was that so wrong? No, because the story you're telling about is the story of man, the story of human beings, of life. You told them a story of love and of hope. Well, how did I do that, God? How did I tell people the story of hope when I didn't even have it myself? People want, and I didn't understand what they wanted. I only understand what I lost. I lost my family, Lord, to here, and it hurt. And I wanted to tell people how I'm dealing with it without trying to kill myself in the process. And God, it wasn't easy for me to do this. It wasn't easy for me to tell them up front and to show them that we're dealing with it as best as we can because we're human. I don't want people to kill themselves over this pain, but I also wanted people to understand what the pain was all about without being medicated all the damn time and pretend it's no longer there. God, was this pain necessary? Was all of it necessary in a way that maybe we're supposed to understand, and yet the only way to go through it is to go through the thing in the first place? Is that how it's supposed to be? I suppose God would probably say, yeah, pretty much. And you said what you had to say. I'm proud. I'll probably look at him and say, I'm confused. I could use a bear hug. More importantly, I could use my family. The hardest thing to deal with in this Grieving and mourning process is mourning the ones that you love. And for me, my trigger that would make me cry is my family and bear hugs. Two things I associate with. Two things I'll never get back from my family because they're ashes. I have the cabinet of my shots left and right because my family's in there as ashes. The picture that you've seen down below is my family, and they matter. And if they didn't matter, I don't know what else would. But it matters to me. It matters to me. And I know there's a lot of pictures out there. There's a lot of people that are suffering right now because they don't understand it. They don't want to understand because the pain is that bad. The grieving is that bad. I wish I could offer you comfort. I wish I could offer you peace. Peace is what we're going to have to find. Sometimes it's elusive and sometimes it hits. And while we understand the reality of it, sometimes we're supposed to be feeling the peace of it, the resignation of it, and just understand. Some things you just have to walk it through and have to get through this damn stuff. And the other things, well, take it as it comes. But this is my story, and I share it like crazy. I share it with a lot of people on my YouTube channel because they need to know. They need to understand. It's important. So after I get this link going through YouTube, I'll send a link out to the grieving pages out there. People can touch on it and understand. Yes, I'm long-winded. But then again, since what does a storyteller have to tell things in short paragraphs or lines?